that I'm no joke. No joke, baby, I'm no joke. Oh, na, na, na. No joke, baby,
Welcome
I'm
to
no
Talk That
joke.
Talk, the show where we talk all things life. I'm your host, King Rems. To my right, the fabulous Miss Faith Fontaine. How you doing, baby?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm easy, you know me. It's better for seeing you and all that. To my left, we've got the wonderful firecracker herself, Elizabeth. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
And we've got our season 2 special guest. We've got April. How you doing?
Wrong way, hi.
Oh, the royal wave. Am I even worthy of being in your presence at this point?
Maybe.
And we've got Ellesse. How you doing, darling?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm easy. I'm all good. I'm all good. Today we're going to be discussing a topic which I know I'm going to trigger some people like, and fuck you if I do. As women, do we enable the toxic behaviours of men? Speak for yourselves, you heterosexual women, because I already know that you do. You do enable their behaviours.
What makes you say that?
Because you're all baby mums. Look at how many baby mums this future has. That's the innate, that's the
What's happening in the future?
That's the embodiment
Leave
of
future alone.
Oh god, we get some tea for
All
this.
accusing us of being baby mums.
Oh yeah, I'm a baby
Apparently,
mama.
all baby mums, well better.
Yeah, it's very true. But no, what is your views on whether women enable the toxic behaviours of men? And we can look at it from a relationship point of view, we can look at it from an intimacy point of view, or even in terms of familial relationships, how mothers have negative relationships with their sons. So we can address it from an intimacy point of view first. Means nothing to me because I don't do it.
Well, I don't know about intimacy. I think we should go from the root of the problem is from childhood.
Mm-hmm.
Girls and boys in the household, well, especially in Caribbean households, are completely different, treated differently. You know, the girls have to be doing all this, and not even that, like, we have to feed the men first and do all this, and they get babied so much.
Yeah.
Like, and that's throughout the whole family. The grandmother does it, the mother does it, the sister has to do it, the other sister,
So where
she's
did
there
that
to
come
do
from?
it.
'Cause that's generational behaviours.
I think it comes back from the old school where, you know, men bring home the bacon and women stay home and cook and clean and stuff like that. And it stems from there where we naturally take care of men and nurture them. So they're lazy. They don't have to do shit because we do it all for them.
So they're enabled from home.
Yep. And then they come into their life. So when they get their girl, they expect their woman to be like how their mother and their sisters and everybody treated them, and it just keeps on going and going. And then, they expect it. It's like men just expect it, and we adhere to it.
It's like, can you do the dishes?
We do. I'm not gonna lie. That was all done. Yeah, we basically enable men's toxic behaviour. That's my view.
Listen, our mothers, not my mum, but love you, mum. But I feel like our generation don't. I feel like we just don't want to put up with their nonsense. Like,
I do agree.
I personally feel like I don't enable men.
You don't enable any. You have
no, but when they do bullshit, you will let it slide. It's true. You let it slide.
I had to unlearn a few things. I'm not gonna lie, because, like I said, the previous generation was all about that. Women, like girls, we raise them in a different way. One of my friends said we raise men and we love them, but we raise women to be somebody or something. I completely butchered that. But but like, it is the way that we do raise men, boys and girls is different. And I think as women, as we are now, I think it's like almost like a revolution within ourselves that we actually don't need to put up with some of the things that and the toxic behaviours that have always been okay for men to have.
But we do, because it's okay for
boys
like,
will
my
be
baby daddies, you know what, the side chick thing and all that stuff. It's like,
wait, what's wrong with being a side chick or having a side chick?
Nothing's wrong with being a side chick, by the way.
Talking about baby mom and side chick and stuff, because it's not everybody's a baby mom or a side chick. Some of us are just dating normally, you know, like, and it's not always have to be the extreme of not that there's anything wrong like with being a single mom or anything like that, but not everybody is dating that dynamic. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes we just go and meet someone that, you know, and they
but when you're a side chick, you are enabling that behaviour though.
Have any of you been side chicks?
Not that I know of.
Okay, but wait, what's
been.
the definition of a side chick? Can we clarify that
The
first?
girl that's on the side that ain't the main one at home.
No,
in my opinion.
No, but some guys will treat you like you're the main chick, as in doing all the same main chick things. So what's the actual
Because we enable it. We know we're the side chick and we still do. Oh, you know what? I posted something, right? No,
so the definition of a side chick, in my opinion,
a
side chick is a woman who knowingly gets involved with a man who's in a relationship.
Right.
Serious relationship with another woman. Whether there's equal treatment or not, they're knowingly entering in an intimate relationship relationship with somebody
That makes
who's
sense.
already
Yeah.
occupied.
So you're not a side chick if you don't know.
Yeah, you're not saying if you don't
Yeah, if you don't know, you think you're the main chick.
The main chick.
Basically. You think you're the only one?
and you realise that you're not,
Yeah.
that you are the Nando's rice at the end of the day, it's peak for you, but you didn't start out, you thought you was a three-quarter piece of chicken.
But men feel like they've got the right to that as well. Like, you know what, you should be doing this, we need to be doing this. I posted something the other day saying, why are you cooking for men and treating them like kings when they should be getting a can of ravioli? That's what we naturally do as women.
Yeah.
We take care, well, me personally, I will take care of my
I
man.
do too.
Even if it's just a casual thing,
Take
I
control.
will actually take care of my men.
Yeah.
That I don't see, even with casual, why you should be any different to if it's something that's more intimate or more...
Because they're
Like-
trifling and
No, it's true. Why would you not see the difference between
No, I think as I've got older, I've realised that as you get older, you think, don't give them wifey treatment without the wifey status. Yeah,
It's true.
like I think
It's
because
true.
otherwise you're just
But
gonna
it's
get
like,
mugged
okay,
up.
if I'm doing a casual thing and the guy stays over, I'm gonna feed him. Like, I
Right.
can't
So
have-
you're giving him husband.
No, but I can't have the dude in my house hungry.
Wait, do you
That's
feed
what-
stray cats?
No,
Do you
but-
feed stray cats? Do you feed pigeons? Are you alright?
Are you calling them pigeons?
Man's doing a fly by night. He's landing in your yard and he's flying off the next morning. Are you leaving him?
I'm not gonna leave him hungry, I'll tell you that now. I'm not gonna leave him hungry. And this is me enabling toxic behaviour.
Our Tesco's out there, man. Discount meal deal. It's not that deep.
I
You are
don't think that's
perpetuating.
enabling toxic behaviour because he could be a decent bloke, you know, like just because he came around doesn't mean he's
No, but if their behaviour is
Yeah.
toxic, because we're
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about toxic
Oh, his
behaviour. So,
behaviour's
you know,
toxic.
I could have had something that's casual and he becomes toxic and it's like, hang on a
Still
minute.
cooking for them.
And I'm still
Yeah.
cooking for his stupid ass. Why am I doing that?
Yeah. Why are you doing that?
I'm enabling it, that's why.
No, yeah.
But I think it's also the socially accepted stereotype of boys will be boys.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
stereotype I think is very, very damaging because men will get away with
Sleeping around.
sleeping around, in some cases domestic violence, unhealthy expressions of anger, inability to deal with emotions. Boys will be boys. And how that is perpetuated is really, really damaging, especially within the black and minority ethnic communities. I can't speak on the white half because I never really grew up with white men around me like that. But seeing the suppression of how men are supposed to deal
I
with
did, and they're toxic.
It's the same. It's
Why
the
men
same in
are
the white
toxic?
homes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did. Obviously,
Yeah.
I grew up in white,
you grew up in
white
country
environments, and they're toxic too. I've got white girlfriends. They'd be always talking about the dudes and what they do. It's universal.
So what are you guys doing about it? Because I'm hearing men are trash, yeah, they're shit, yeah. Men
I
are
don't
just
like this
dangerous,
men are
yeah. What
trash.
are you
I don't
doing?
like
You know
it.
what it is?
Yeah.
I
What are you
think
doing?
Even though they are.
the thing is,
Women are trash. Don't make me go there again.
Don't start. Leave us alone.
Here we go. From a more serious angle, I think that a lot of women do it from a subconscious level because things might have happened in their upbringing, maybe things they've witnessed between their parents, and these things form the way that we are when we're older. And also there's things like low self-esteem. I think a lot of women operate in a world where they're living with low self-esteem, and that when you have low self-esteem, that's a recipe for enabling and toxic behaviours because toxic men like to prey on
Vulnerable women.
vulnerable
Ooh, you
women.
said pray, that's a bit strong, you know.
No, it's true. Toxic men
it's
do
true.
prey on vulnerable women.
100%,
Sorry.
yeah.
I would say
No.
that
Pray is a bit
not-
Jeffrey
not-
Epstein, innit? That's a bit strong.
Listen, not all toxic men actually do it on a conscious level.
Level. That's
Because
true.
some of them might actually
I
have
think
personality
so.
disorders.
But you are what you attracted to. That's a bit
Let's be kind, borderline. Okay? So I feel like they need that kind of woman to be able to feed whatever.
So what are women doing to stop enabling those behaviours? What are you guys really, like, when are you putting your foot down? Where do you draw the line? At what point are you like, okay, cool, this is not what we're doing?
I think for women to do that, we need to uphold the sisterhood more and uplift each other because that's like one step forward in uplifting ourselves and increasing our self-esteem collectively. And I think also being self-aware and cognizant of past traumas in childhood, developmental stuff, and just having expectations for ourselves that supersedes like what society tells us is okay when it comes to men. Just having standards, because I feel like we're only as strong as the weakest link,
Yeah.
and if you have a group of women that enable these behaviours, then men are always going to go to this women, and that's going to be the baseline of the standard.
And if one woman doesn't do it, the next one will.
Yeah.
You know, and you know what I think as well, we need to set out from the beginning of the relationship, and then that toxic behaviour shouldn't really come front forth. So it's like, you lay down the law, this is how the relationship's gonna go, or how you really want it to go, and that's with the men. The men should lay it down on us as well. And then I think that will like not get rid, but kind of diminish some of the toxic behaviour that could possibly arise from that relationship.
Or they step off, you step up, or you step
Yeah.
off. I think
Simple as.
even across like from the LGBT community, I find that women are quite flippant with their values. There's an innate need to be in a relationship, there's an innate need to be loved and to be loving and to do the couple things. Even if you look at it in terms of socially, what's thrown in our faces, Love Island, all kind of like adverts, like 2 people going on holiday, or it's 2 people in the store, or it's 2 people doing that. So we're sold that relationships are the done thing to do. So people are rushing into these relationships with their emotional baggage and childhood trauma, and just literally obliterating each other emotionally. I think women bear the brunt of that, being naturally, in majority of times, women have more emotional dexterity than men. So in terms of that being said, around women having more emotional dexterity than men, I think we should look at the role of mothers in, I guess, the production line of toxic men and toxic behaviours. So in terms of, Faith and I had a conversation about this quite a while ago in terms of the role mothers play, especially around kind of the narcissistic angle and the emotional suppression of men. So it'd be good to get your views on that from a holistic point of view, and some of you actually date men.
Do you know what, actually? I feel like, it's going to sound kind of bad, but when I speak to a guy, I think it's really important that you talk about their family and stuff. A lot of them will be like, oh, that's a bit personal, but I mean...
If I don't know about your family...
I want to know everything, literally.
But I always feel like the ones that have either estranged or some kind of like issue with their mum in some
Abandonment
way,
issues.
or they tend to be the ones that act up the most.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not saying that it's a rule, but it's something that I kind of keep in the back of my mind, because like obviously you want to give people a chance. You can't write people off because of like their upbringing, but it's something that I've personally noticed that the ones with an unhealthy relationship with their mums are the ones that are kind of a bit wayward.
From the interactions I've had with some of like my male friends, it's often a spousal substitute relationship. So the mother has either like an absent father or a bad relationship with men in general, and they substitute the son emotionally, psychologically, hopefully not physically, because that's like some wayward shit. But in terms of like those emotional boundaries that you shouldn't cross, they become almost a substitute for that, and they become supportive of the mother in a way that is more than just the son. So it's financial, it's emotional, it's kind of supporting the mother through various issues, and that itself is damaging as well, because there's a real lack of understanding about boundaries. And as much as we send men out in the world to be these protectors and these providers, they also need that level of protection. They also need to understand emotional boundaries and being aware of the fact that, oh God, I can see you get it.
No, you know what? No, we're talking about women enabling men's toxic behaviour. Men actually enable men's toxic behaviour as well. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna say it. No, they do. You know, like, yeah, bro, you do that, stuff like that, and even like, okay, even TV shows. When you think about it, like, let's talk about Take Me Out.
Take Me Out.
Yeah.
Oh, Paddy McGuinness.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is it a bunch of women picking a guy they've never?
Because technically,
I don't know if they've done a
there
special.
are more women on the planet than men. So
I don't think they're thinking about
slightly.
statistics of more women on the planet than men. To tell you the truth, the show is based on us women having to make sure that we pick the right guy, and we're like, oh, pick me, and all that. And even the media does it.
Yeah, but Love Island works the other way around. Does it not?
No, because again, while at the end, you know, they do like their marriage ceremony type thing. The guy's waiting there, the woman's coming along in her pretty dress and all that. So I just find that even men enable it. You know, it's sort of like a brotherhood of, you know what? Yeah, bro. Because I wouldn't say, well, some guys, I'm not saying, again, we're back to the some. Some guys will obviously say, bruv, that was a bit, you know, you can't be doing that.
But it's rare though, don't you think though? It's quite rare.
Yeah, a lot of guys are like, yeah, man.
Yeah,
what, you smashed that?
Yeah, no, it's true. But if you went to your girl and said that, she might be like, that I'm not going to disown you because you're my friend, but that's a bit silly. Like, I don't know about that. Do you get what I'm saying? Where boys will be like, you're a G.
Yeah, it's so different.
But to flip it back, at what point do women perpetuate this behaviour? Because a lot of times men do things because women think it's cool.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie.
men
Women
do
are toxic as well,
Yeah.
and that's how a lot of toxic women enable toxic behaviour.
Yeah.
So everybody's just freaking
Yeah, but
toxic.
toxic in the sense of what I think, just toxic in the sense of we just accept it. Like,
Acceptance.
toxic in the sense of we like.
There's a perpetuation of that behaviour.
Yeah, I don't think we like woo, let's go kind of
out.
thing. I just think we just accept it to make it toxic, if that makes sense.
No, I think there's some women that are toxic can actually just like it's like a vicious circle, like a never-ending circle. You got women that literally just date men because of the watch they have or because they take them to Hakkasan.
Yeah, but also look how men show like. Showcase themselves.
It's like
Yeah, but women do the same
constant
too.
feedback
Yeah,
loop
but
to
women
one
fall in
another
love with
toxic.
women fall in love with
Money and power.
Yeah, and men fall in love with what they see. So everybody's selling everybody a dream.
Yeah.
At
It's
the end
so
of the day.
annoying to see that.
Mhm.
It just makes me so irritated when there's women who literally like it's embarrassing how like some women will literally fall over backwards for some just
Or forwards in some
rubbish person, some rubbish guy who had no upbringing, no home
No
training,
manners, no nothing.
all because he has a nice car, he has nice clothes, he has drip,
Mm-hmm.
and all this stuff is and all status. Like, who cares? And then you're gonna run around saying men are trash, and of course men are trash if that is all you're going to. You're not actually because. When it boils back, when you boil it back, it comes back to the whole self-esteem thing.
Yeah.
And also, women have developmental issues as well. And I just think humans.
Why do you say that?
Because if men do, of course women do. Because
In what capacities?
sorry,
In what capacities? How do they differ?
like we mentioned in the previous episode about like things like daddy issues, even mommy issues. Sometimes people have things like a poverty mindset. Where if you've grown up in an environment where you didn't have a lot, seeing men.
So you would be impressed by that.
Like
You would be wooed by
Yeah.
that. Like
Some
that would be
women-
impressive to you.
Right.
I agree. Yeah. Like I've
Some
seen
women
that.
are fueled by to want to better themselves and achieve the things that they couldn't have, and some women want to do it through
Divorce,
sleeping with a rich
Yeah.
man
Yeah.
or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that
I understand your point, right? And the whole thing of like women falling for the swag and the drip or whatever you called it. But here's the thing: when you women sit, like you feminine women, sit and talk about, oh, this is the man that I want. You encapsulate a lot of those traits.
What do you mean?
I want a man that's 6'3". I want him
I
to
do.
be well paid. He's got to have a Rolex. He's got to have size 12.5 feet. He's got to drive.
But there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But we don't need to enable the toxic part.
Yeah,
of
but
how
it.
many
And
times-
if he's got a good career, looks good, and it's like, what's wrong with
But
that?
how many times do you females actually go, do you know what? He is very emotionally in tune. I can deal with him. You fucking don't, bro.
You don't. I definitely
You
don't.
look at his beard connects up. You look at his got a hairline, and you look at his shoes. You don't care what his hairline looks
His hairline. His hairline.
Picture. You don't have a hairline. He's emotionally available. Picture.
Right. So basically, if your beard connects, you literally don't have any manners. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Basically,
Basically.
just insulted all
No,
the pretty
what I'm
boys.
saying to you is to run back my point. If you had a choice between a man's beard connecting up and him being emotionally stable and being able to communicate with you on different levels, look at your brain thinking. I can see it thinking. What would you
There's
choose?
people over there as well. You
What
know.
would you choose? If the beard connects up.
Okay,
you
is
know
the
how
beard
to-
patchy when it's trying to connect? I'm joking. No, I'm joking. No,
You
me
thought that.
personally, I don't care about a beard. I've seen men, they can get like the fake ones now, so I don't think it's that deep anymore.
You can get like the spray and stuff, like filling the gaps.
No, honestly, like me, myself, like I would actually prefer someone that's a bit more like emotionally connected because I feel like a lot of men lack that. So
And he's bald. You can take that, right?
he's
Yeah,
bald.
bald men are.
No, do you know what? Sometimes baldness suits some people.
Yeah.
If
And
it
you ain't
suits,
got no swag.
Listen.
Look at her face.
why are you doing? Yeah, but you
I'm iterating my point. You
Yeah.
women enable toxic men because you go for what you see. You go for the swag. You go for the bravado. You go for everything.
But doesn't
that shields
everyone?
those issues.
No,
No,
I
you know what? I go for
Someone that's
someone
attractive.
like me.
You
Someone
go for
that's
toxic
on my
men, you
no.
make 3-course meals with
What, you
women,
trying to
you
sound
do it
toxic? No, I go for guys that are on my level. And I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
no,
and
this
I'm
is
talking
literally what I was
I'm
about to
talking
say. When I met
emotionally-
my boyfriend 11 years ago, he had nothing. Like, literally, he didn't even have a driving licence, he didn't even barely have a job. Like he was 19 years old. I was 17 years old. I wasn't impressed because he had nothing. Like I was impressed by the connection that we had and like the personality and the way he made me hysterically laugh. Like that was it.
But
so
you were
like
young. Would you accept that
I was
now?
young. I wouldn't. I think I would. Yeah, because I think I've just always been so humble. I've just never been, like I said, impressed by. And especially now, you can get shit on finance. I swear. Like now, you can pay for things monthly. You can get things secondhand, half price. Like now, things are so different. So it's like you could be dripping in designer. I don't know where you got it from. Like your car could still be rented, and you could still be living in your sister's like guest room. Yeah. So I really don't. It's like whatever. You can't take people from like appearance these days because you really don't know what the situation is.
We hope you and your boyfriend get married. You're at 28, yeah. If you found a man that didn't have nothing, no driving license, no swag, just a humble guy flipping burgers in McDonald's, then he can make you look
Okay, only now it would be because the fact that if someone didn't drive, I know now how much of an inconvenience it would be for my life. Like, to be honest, like no, I think that's what it is. I would if like the connection was great and like everything. Like I think if there was more good points than bad, then I would maybe just get over it. But if you are not bringing much to the table as it is, and then there's all these extra things, I'm sorry, no, I'm not giving you the time of day.
I think you guys need to take responsibility for pushing men to the edge of their sanity. Because they have to have their shit together.
Men need to take responsibility for their behaviour.
But at the same time, you want them to be emotional, but don't be emotional. You want them to look after you, but at the same time...
No, I do agree. Women are so indecisive. Like, I am so bad for that. Like, literally, I'm the worst. Like, I will say, I want you to be more affectionate. I want you to be more, like, obsessed with me or whatever. And then when he does, I'll be like, stop.
Just stop it.
You're being obsessive and you wasn't like that yesterday. Stop. Like, I'll just be,
we are like that.
We are like that.
I'm going to get a boyfriend, bro.
We are hard work.
But you know what? This has been a really, really great subject to address. And I think there's so many layers and angles we could have taken it out. And I like the way we've approached it. I mean, for me, women, we enable men's toxic behaviours in all their lives.
I like the we there.
You know, I have to take responsibility because I do gas up like my brothers. And like, they're like, oh yeah, you smash this thing. I'm like, swear down, you smash your friend as well. You should do it, you know. Like, I'm the little devil on their shoulder. So I do take responsibility for some of the toxic behaviours I enable. But we are where we are with it, man. But we appreciate you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. We've been Talk That Talk. Thank you.
Baby, I'm no joke. Oh, no joke.